Hi, this is Dr. Jared Garris. I'm the Glenn County Health Officer, and I'd like to speak about wearing a mask 101. So kind of a brief summary of some of the do's and don'ts of wearing a mask. I think that this is an important topic right now as the churches are requiring that we go ahead and wear a mask when we attend services. And so I think there's probably some people out there who have not worn masks, and so I want to make sure that we're going ahead and doing so safely. Before we begin, I'd like to kind of give some of my thoughts regarding wearing a mask. I've heard a lot of people talk about how wearing a mask is a sign of fear, and I really think of it as being a sign of love. So there's a little bit of protection that's given to the person who's wearing it, but there's a lot for everybody around them. Okay, so hands down, no question, the main way that COVID-19 is spread is through respiratory particles. So we speak, we breathe, we cough, we sneeze, and we send out these respiratory droplets all around us. When we wear a mask, most of those are contained, and so it makes it much safer for everyone else. A little bit for the person wearing it, a lot for everyone else. And so it really becomes a matter of, do we love our neighbor enough to be uncomfortable in wearing a mask to help protect them, to help them potentially keep them from getting sick and keep them safe. And so that might be something to think about as we're going to church. So a little bit of some controversy. In the world of Facebook, there's a whole lot of controversy regarding carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide sickening or sickness or poisoning. I actually have a whole video that kind of goes over this. But real briefly, there is a tremendous amount of data that is very, very safe. We've been using masks in the operating room since the 1960s. Wearing a mask for a couple of hours, you should be very safe. So don't worry about that. If you do have severe lung problems, so if you've got severe emphysema or something like that, and it is hard for you to breathe through a mask, then that's probably not the right thing to do. Okay? Now, there is a little bit of fear of infecting oneself, and that's actually what I'm going to be spending most of my time talking about. The biggest thing for keeping from infecting oneself is to avoid touching the outside. So when we breathe in, potentially we're taking those COVID particles and we're sticking them to the outside of the mask. So anytime we touch the mask, it's real important to go ahead and use some hand sanitizer. So that's going to be the biggest thing. To remember is anytime you touch the outside, use a little hand sanitizer. If you need to adjust the mask, you can go ahead and use the loops, and that usually makes it much easier to do without touching that potentially infectious outside of the mask. Okay, so putting on the mask. So real briefly, we go ahead, we put a little hand sanitizer or clean our hands. We go ahead and pick them up by the loops. Avoid touching the outside dirty part. We make sure that it's snug around the nose. We make sure it's covering both the mouth and the nose. And then we go ahead and use a little bit of hand sanitizer or wash our hands. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So I've got a little bit of hand sanitizer. I put it on my hands. I go ahead and I pick up my mask by the loop. I don't touch the dirty outside. I'm going to go ahead and pull it tight. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it fits over both my mouth and my nose. And I never touch the outside of the mask. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and touch the outside of the mask. Make sure that it's nice and tight around my nose, and then I'm going to use a little bit of hand sanitizer. Okay, so really it's pretty simple and pretty easy to do. With taking off the mask, we're going to go ahead and clean our hands. We're going to use the loops. We're going to fold in half so that the dirty side is touching the dirty side so that we don't spread it to the other surfaces, and we consider putting it in a paper bag. That's what we do at the hospitals. And then we go ahead and clean our hands again. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half, okay, so that the dirty side is touching the dirty side so that it doesn't contaminate any surfaces. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it into a paper bag, and then I'm going to go ahead and use a little hand sanitizer, okay? And so that's putting on and taking off and the ways of avoiding contaminating yourself with COVID-19. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you very much and have a great day.